Alright, so I decided to cut the heroic intervention and put in the promenade. Heroic intervention was passable in that last game, but there are so many other interactions with promenade, especially since we added the Pendelhaven Elder, which makes all of those into 2/3s potentially, and it's a great way to generate mana. Promenade just seems like it does a lot more. It makes us a little more vulnerable to Wrath, but I don't think one card is really going to make us invulnerable to Wrath. I mean, Heroic Intervention may sometimes be good, but a lot of times it was just a dead draw. So, I'm going to try this out. Alright, got another one. We're on the play. Playing against Carlo of the Ghost Council. Interesting deck. Our hand looks fantastic. I believe we can turn to Herald Heritage Druid into Elvish Guidance. Oh, no, we can't. Not quite. Which makes me want to wait on the Heritage Druid. Sacrifice all lands you control. Create a 5/5 Demon Spirit. Interesting. Alright. Lifelink Flyer. A little bit problematic. But we should be able to create enough mana that it doesn't really matter. What do we want here? Do we want the Wood Elves, the Herald, or the Guidance? I think the Wood Elves opens us up the best next turn. To basically dump our hand. Do we... I don't really want to open up the Heritage Druid or the removal, and I don't think we need to. Whenever you gain life, so that thing's actually a bit of a problem. Put 2, and then you remove 6, cost mana. So if we do this, play that, play the Elvish Guidance, tap for 3 mana, play the Wirewood Herald, play Ezuri. And that's just a ton of mana next turn. Might as well. The mana's sitting there. So that was a really good turn 3. Basically just dumped out her hand. A lot of tap lands over here. He might be going for a less expensive mana base. And he's kind of paying for it. He might have removal for Ezuri. Yep, there's removal for Ezuri. I think we can still do a ton of damage to him. So this is 5 mana. Play that. I really want to get the symbiote out to protect. So maybe we just wait a turn. We can make 3, 5 mana to pump 2 creatures and still leave one regen up. Technically 2 regen ups and a return a creature to our hand. And the cheaper Ezuri, if we have to return Ezuri to our hand, the cheaper version of it makes a pretty big deal. Oh, that sucks. Frickin' Jit, man. I just keep running into Jit. And it's not like people are, using Stoneforge or some other, like, they just keep naturally drawing Jit against me. He gets to use the counter on the Heritage Druid. Alright, nothing we can do about that. Still have a ton of mana. So this makes 4 mana. Oh, 5 mana? Yeah, okay, 5 mana. That makes another 5 mana, so it's +6/+6 on 3 creatures doing... Is that dead? Because it's 18 damage plus the base of them. Wait, is that not right? Yeah, okay, that's right. Alright. So, there's a lightning fast start for you. That's what the deck's, you really want the deck to do. Doesn't do it all the time, unfortunately. But that's why I wanted the really cheap elves instead of the non-elf spells. Like, so you could increase the chances of doing this kind of stuff. Got another one. Once again on the play. Getting pretty lucky with that. Playing against Brea. Hand looks moderately keepable. Wasteland's pretty good. I don't have a lot of hope for this Boreal Druid. Cavern of Souls is actually really good. I didn't even notice that there. Cavern of Souls doesn't work for Promenade. Can kill my elf. Ancestral Visions. I can Wasteland Well-Wisher. I want to eat up his removal before this Perfect comes into play. Or, like, stall him out. I don't know if that was the right play, but... it seems pretty good. Just gonna attack with it. Gaining life doesn't mean a lot to me right now. What I really need to worry about here is Toxic Deluge and those kind of effects. All right, what are you playing here? An artifact? Stoneforge Mystic for Jit. Can I not face Jit like once here? Oh, it's so bad for me. Batterskull, that's interesting. So, I got my wish. I'm not playing against Jit. Don't know if that's exactly what I wanted out of life. I mean, we can just go wide around Batterskull. He doesn't want to trade here. It might have been a pretty weak Promenade. Which mana is that? That beats just a ton of mana, doesn't it? So let's elf, elf, elf. Play this uncounterable. Pump everything. Yeah, okay, so once again, just a lightning fast start. Batterskull does not a lot. Because he gains 5, so it negates 2 creatures here. But then he still takes 25 damage because he has to tap that thing. So, yeah, couldn't even get Brea out. So, there we go. So that's another way to play around these artifacts, is just getting these lightning fast starts. Alright, I figured it was worth trying again against Brea. See if, that was just a fluke. Brea is a really good deck. We obviously have to mulligan this hand. And this hand. And I guess this one's keepable. Rangers is pretty good. We're on the draw this time. So, that's to our disadvantage. He has no targets for duress. Our start's pretty slow though. So we play Ranger, Mosswort Bridge. For Fierce Empath, I guess. None of these are great. I don't know how good Mosswort Bridge is. It might just be better off as a forest. Let's get the... because I haven't had it trigger yet. But he's getting a Brayer next turn. It's going to be really hard for us to push through that. Alright. This is interesting. Because his mana is kind of crazy. That Wasteland last game was pretty nice. When you're able to advance their board, your board, and cut down their mana, it's pretty awesome. So the fact that we have so many mana elves. Alright, Dark Confidant. Not going to attack for that. At least Nissa is resolving. Do we want Beastmaster? Probably not. Not yet. Let's go for Nissa. This probably dies, but... Alright, he took 4 damage from a Factor Fiction. Still a turn away from playing and activating Brea. But he might just play Brea here. Yeah, it looks like he's playing Brea. Oh, Vindicates. Okay. That wasn't the world's best. Kills a land, though. Which isn't nothing. Earthcraft's pretty good. It's not stellar this turn, but it gets better in the future turns. Like, we might be able to draw an elf and then play the Lysolana and then also get a token right away. Need 7 counters on this thing to make it active. You can attack with Dark Confidant, that's fine. Alright, I guess... I know Querying Ranger is pretty good, but so is Nissa. Nissa's a long way from flipping. Guess we'll ditch the Querying Ranger. That's pretty good. So he cast the Painful Truce? Yeah, he did. So he's down to 16. Still got a Factor Fiction in hand. Still hasn't played Brea, which is... Looks like it's incoming now. Nope, Factor Fiction. I think it's Duretti versus... Should I give a Mana Leak in Duretti? No, let's just do Duretti versus. Although we might be able to just beat Duretti because we're wide already. So he took everything. So maybe I should have put the Mana Leak in the other pile. I don't know. I didn't want him to take Duretti. Because can you instantly? Yeah, you can right away sack an artifact. That's not horrible for us. If he's sacking mana artifacts. I don't know, I'd almost rather not block. He gets a 4 cards next turn anyways. Let's not block. Do a bunch of damage to his face this turn. We don't even have to cast a creature. Got a removal spell? Brea? Alright. Well, that sucks. Because that's a lot of blockers. It always works the opposite of the way I imagine it does on this thing, because you got to pick the land first and then the... Always yes, always yield. Always yes, always yield. So we've got regen up on all of these things. Are we attacking with anything? We could throw away some creatures to do no damage, probably. We don't want to attack with Lisslana. We throw away one creature to add 3 counters to this. Is that alright? And then he can't really block with these things. I guess he could sack these artifacts. It seems alright. Always yes, always yield. Yeah, he just blocks Nissa, which is fine. Oh, I could have regened Nissa. That was dumb. I wasn't thinking of it because I have, like, all this, don't have mana untapped, but he pretty much has to kill Ezuri. Even then, it's pretty bad for him. He didn't take any damage from the Dark Confidant, which sucks. But he drew a bunch of cards. If he can kill the Pendelhaven Elder and Ezuri, it's going to be difficult. Maybe I should have done another one. I was a little worried about maybe he'd respond to the regeneration triggers. Nettle Sentinel is isn't the most valuable. All right. He still takes a lot of damage next turn. You going after Pendelhaven Elder too? Because that doesn't quite... I don't know if that saves him. I guess only if I can untap the Nettle Sentinel. Then I can possibly do enough damage to him. It's kind of a big if. Because I can't use these creatures to cast things to recast Ezuri or anything like that. Oh my god. It's so bad for us. I think he's found us out. He drew just so many cards. Alright. Yeah, let's just call it there. There's no reason to continue this, like, 1% game. So, fast start. We actually almost recovered there, but Ancestral Vision was actually one of the keys to getting him there. And Fiery Confluence, you know, there's a few other Wraths that are just stupid good against us. And there's not much you can, you know, like if we... You know, we cut Elvish Promenade we cut the Indestructible thing for Elvish Promenade, but we wouldn't have had that in our hand, and we wouldn't have really had untapped mana. So, you know, it happens. That's one of the weaknesses that I was well aware of the deck. Alright, we got another one. We're on the play again. Playing against Rayon. and Bruce Tarl. His hand looks great. Opponent's taking a minute. Or it could be Magic Online. Sometimes it takes a minute. Not sure exactly what's going on here. Oh, he mulliganed. Okay. So there we go. So, Land Arbor Elf. Don't necessarily want to open up Pendelhaven just yet. I play into removal, but I really want this Archdruid online. I mean, my Perfect is pretty good as well. Maybe I want to play into that first. Archdruid probably a little better. We'll do the Perfect first. Do the removal test. Oh, jeez. Let me guess, Jit? Just keep running into Jit. At least we can kind of play around that with this. And then, do we want to attack? Or do we want to play Llanowar Elves? I think we want our mana to be better next turn. So let's do that. I forgot I could activate with the Perfect, which is actually really good. It generates more mana for us next turn because we create an elf. He can't play and equip the Jit this turn. And okay, so we're so wide already. We create so much mana. The Jit takes 2 turns to be active. He decides to just throw it in. If we had found another Lord, then it gets even worse for him. But we have a ton of mana, so we could easily just play Ezuri next turn. And then the Jit's basically impossible to ever kill a creature at that point, as long as we leave up 5 mana, and we're pretty wide already. So, alright, no harm in trying that matchup again. We're on the draw this time. We have to mulligan. This hand does not look great. Do we keep it anyways? We get a scry. I think we mulligan this. This we keep. We're not interested in that. Oh, he actually switched decks. It's a same player. He actually switched decks to Animar, which we probably cannot beat. And this is a tapped land. We need an untapped land to do anything. Alright, that's something. Do we play the Perfect? Probably. He could have removal. He's less likely than the other deck to have removal. That other deck is probably jam full of removal. This one, you're looking at like some creature-based removal and that kind of stuff. So there's less of that. You know, Cloud of Fairies is fantastic. This is his turn 2? This is his turn 3. Did he not play a land? Okay, there's his land. So, oh my god. He's basically just playing out his hand. Oh my god. What are you getting? Ancestral statue? Just kill me next turn? I mean, we can block with a 1/1. So ancestral statue is probably not the answer. He gets fierce empath. Oh yeah, ancestral statue is a 4/4. I was thinking the wrong thing. Ancestral statue isn't something you can get with Windland Miller. And he got Kozilek, which he can cast next turn and draw 4 cards. I think we just throw in the towel there. It happens. It's really hard to beat Animar with this deck. Alright, we have another one. We're on the draw against Ezuri. So a mirror match in a rogue deck. That's interesting. We have to mulligan. This thing's keepable. I wonder about Glimpse. I haven't had it be good yet. I think I don't want that. I do want it, but I need a land. I can't just not draw land. Well, Heritage Druid is pretty good. Like, we just don't have as many 1 mana creatures to make Glimpse really, really good. Alright. Not playing Wild Growth. I am playing Skull Clamp. Not interested in Skull Clamping his Heritage Druid. Wonder why. Alright, that actually seems really good here. Especially with a Glimpse. Well, I guess we only have 1 creature. 2, potentially. But we can cast Nissa for 2 mana, get a land, play Ezuri, so no, we can't Glimpse next turn and draw 2 cards. Alright. We could make a 5/5. No, we couldn't. We could make a tapped 5/5. Elvish Guidance doesn't do a lot yet. Alright. maybe I should have glimpsed for 2. I didn't think about that because, like, it's swinging with a 5/5 doesn't seem that great. Or I could just play Ezuri. Ezuri's pretty good. Do we yet have the mana to make him worthwhile? We're close. So maybe we just want the 5/5 Trampler? Let's play this. I probably should have glimpsed and drawn 2 cards. He can block if he wants to. He does not want to. Not surprised. Alright, Magistrate is really, really good. And he's got 4 more mana. Just playing Ezuri. So we got 5 mana. Yep, there's Ezuri. Okay. That Magistrate's pretty hard to beat. Do we glimpse? Yeah, let's glimpse. Make a giant Nissa. And that's all we can do. We can't even do the promenade, can we? Well, that's too bad. Or the guidance. So he can pump everything. Put 4 counters on something? Yeah, he's already moving to combat. I guess we block one of them. Because we can untap this, regen. It's trample. So it's not a huge benefit. Saves us 1 damage. Yeah, there's not much we can do about that. I mean, it forces him to do this. But he was going to do it anyways. Alright. Are we dead? No, we're not. I don't think we're dead. Alright, so let's... he dead on the crackback? Oh my god, yeah, I think he is. How much green mana is that? 6? Oh, yeah, he sees that he's dead. That was an aggressive attack on his part. And even if we had to tap this guy, we still do a lot of damage. So even if we hadn't drawn a land, I don't know if he wanted to attack that all out. Possibly leaving the Magistrate back and then using it to put counters on something so that you can live. Like, you can block a lot of damage with that thing. So, alright, we won. Interesting mirror. Alright, we got another one. We're on the draw. We are playing against Zurgo. Alright. So we're a heavy creature deck. I think we can probably play around Zurgo fairly alright. I don't know if I want to play Jiraga into removal. We're going to keep his hand. His hand's very keepable. I think we do play Jiraga. If he leaves mana untapped, we probably don't activate it, and we just play these two creatures. Alright. Shouldn't be casting any spells from my graveyard. But a first strike 2/2 is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. Not going to block. I wonder if I want a crop rotation for Pendlehaven. Doesn't seem like too bad of a plan. Should be able to cast Yeva next turn. Should be hard to get through. I mean, you could just have removal for the Copper Horn. I don't think I blocked the first striker because of how removal interacts with that. Alright. Looks like we killed the Zurgo. definitely the kind of things we want to be doing. Alright, that sucks. Alright, I didn't see that one coming. I figured maybe a 1 mana, something that does 1 damage would be coming, but not that. If he attacks, I don't know if I block. I kind of need this elf. So he might just be able to bluff me out of this one. I'm not going to block. Not this turn, at least. That smuggler's copter is a pretty big deal. Not a land. Do we want to glimpse Ren's Run? Let's glimpse. Play the 3/3 Death Touch. Not a land. I think I do block if he attacks with this. I mean, it can go badly, but getting rid of removal, it doesn't look like we're going to get the opportunity to block. Or is it a sorcery speed spell he's got? Burst Lightning does 2 damage. Oh man, I need that mana. I really, really need that mana. We'd be doing really well here if we had drawn like a land. I mean, the deck's a little shy on lands. So, these kind of problems are going to happen sometimes. Alright, so he's going to crew the copter and go to town. Hoping to draw something. Collateral damage, sacrifice a creature for a lightning bolt. So he decided he didn't want that because it sacks a creature. Come on. I need a land. I need a land so bad. kept a 2-lander, didn't we? Like, I haven't drawn any lands in 5 turns. Alright. Zergo doesn't concern me that much. He can use it to pilot the smuggler's copter, and then we're going down to 11. Dark Trail's a sorcery, so maybe we could have gotten away with blocking the Ash Shell at that one turn. Hard to say. He didn't draw a card. I'm not sure why you do that. Like, you should at least look at your card. For the love of God. Alright, let's play the Symbiote. I mean, we should have drawn a land by now. Alright, you got a 2-2. The Seeker doesn't do anything. And then I'm priced into blocking the Ash Zealot. So we only take 3. He gets to loot, so he's got better chances of hitting something that punishes us for blocking the Ash Zealot. But if we would have drawn land, he didn't draw a card again. I'm not sure that's like ever correct. I mean, there are some times when it's correct, but in most cases, I don't believe that is correct. Alright. Doesn't exactly punish us. Like, he could have used that anyways, or he could have used that on our face. We saved 2 life. So not having land is what's really punishing us. Not sure what he's thinking about. Still seems that getting the Pendelhaven was a pretty good idea. What are you thinking about here? Come on, let's move it forward, please, and thank you. All right. We went 7 turns without drawing land. There's nothing you can do about that. Alright, so what did we learn? We learned that the deck's greatest enemies are itself, mass removal, and Jit, probably in that order. You can play around Jit, you know, 50% of the time, maybe, by just being really fast. It's a little bit harder to play around Wraths, but it can be done. And then if you get bad draws or just inconsistent draws, like, there's almost no playing around it. So it seems like the deck's worst enemy is itself. It's not like Vintage where you can have 4 of each elf. Um, so you end up with a lot of inconsistency because, like, you're limited the number of elves you can play. So to get all the really cheap ones, like, either you play really bad elves or you just don't have, you have to play more expensive elves. So I don't know, maybe it might be worth trying cutting some of these 4 drops and adding in some mediocre 1 and 2 drops and see if maybe the deck gets a little better because of that. Um, Also, the lands, maybe you want to cut some 4 drops for a land or two. We do have a lot of mana elves, which is why I thought 34 lands might work. But when they kill all your mana elves, especially if they know you're missing land drops, then that's an opportunity for them to kill all your mana elves and they know that it's going to be good against you. Then you just can't do anything like what happened in the last match. So those are some changes that maybe could be made. Cutting some of the 4 drops, they're all pretty good, but maybe not the best. Sylvan Messenger could probably be cut. Woodland Channeler is probably slow. It could probably be cut. Yava's Herald is actually really good against counterspells, and I'd probably want to keep that in. It was really good against Vendilion Click. Drone of Elves I never drew. I don't know how good that is. Elvish Promenade could probably still be cut. It was okay when we did draw it. Magistrate is kind of bonkers, so maybe you want to keep that in. And then Lissalana is alright. It's probably better than Promenade, but only by a little bit. And then Dwinin is a lord, so it's going to be good a lot of the time. The other thing is that I never got to play a Crater Hoof. I never got even close. So maybe that's a bit ambitious. Maybe I could have played different ways to try and get that into play a little better. So it was a fun deck. It was a lot of fun. Just it has consistency issues, and I think that's the biggest problem with the deck. Like I said, it's not like Legacy Elves, where you get to play 4 of a lot of really good elves. You end up stuck with a lot of mediocre elves or more expensive elves that make it harder to really get that really, really fast start. But when you did get that really, really fast start, when you got a consistent draw, it was really awesome. And, you could even, there were a couple of times where I just beat right through a Jit. Jit didn't even matter. Or, you get in under, there was a time that I beat him down before he ever cast Brea, or before they can get mass removal, those kind of things. So maybe cutting down the mana curve, cutting Crater Hoof, cutting some of the 4 drops. Crater Hoof might even be like a win more in this deck. And then just, stick with cheaper creatures that are a little less mediocre. That might be playable. I still don't think it's going to be the greatest deck in the world, but that might be the direction I take if I play this again at some point and try that out. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.